Sometimes, popularity can be a curse. Expectations can create insecurities, and insecurities can lead to compensation for problems that were never there. That was the fear of many going into Dark Souls 2, a direct sequel to a game considered to be one of the best of its generation. More talked about and more promoted now, has the pressure this time out spoiled the experience? If you're a follower of fantasy or RPGs, you probably know the Dark Souls franchise, even if only by reputation. It's considered to be one of the hardest mainstream titles on the market, brutal and unwelcoming, more akin to games from long ago, thanks to around 100 hours of insanely tough bosses, obscure mysteries, and a total lack of handholding or guidance whatsoever. It's the sort of reputation that attracts some and dissuades others, and with the announcement of Dark Souls 2, many assumed that this trademark difficulty would be scaled down, or at least signposted, to make the game more appealing to the millions who snap up series like The Elder Scrolls year on year. If these are your worries, well, fear not.
But one day, you will stand before its decrepit gate without really knowing why.
Dark Souls 2 does change quite a bit from Dark Souls 1, and it is more accessible, but for all the right reasons. It's a refinement, not a reinvention, one that grows on us after each and every hour we sink into it. Surprisingly enough, Dark Souls 2 is harder than Dark Souls 1, mostly thanks to some new mechanics that disable the more common exploits. Once again, you assume the role of a human being in an epic land, unable to die, cursed to return to life over and over again. In Dark Souls 2, every time you're restored, you return weaker and more hollow. At first, this system feels downright cruel, but as with everything else in Dark Souls 2, it's well thought out, intelligent, tough love. It changes how you approach the two central elements of the game, combat and exploration. During combat, you need to be tactical with what advantages you use and when, while during exploration, you learn to be afraid of even the most common foot soldiers. You'd not quite describe it as survival horror, but it's not far off, especially as death also strips you of your souls, which act as currency for leveling and items, unless you can make it back to the spot where you died. Combat feels blunt and slow, but also very deliberate. With both your offensive and defensive abilities tied to the same short meter of stamina, you need to work in and out, making your move, then waiting, then moving again. It's tricky at first, but once you get in the zone, it's much like more traditional turn-based RPGs, only reflex-based and happening all around you all at once. As your character grows and develops, the flexibility of the leveling system comes into play, and that's where combat becomes deep. Do you prefer to play as a slow, damage-absorbing tank, or as a swift, ghost-like ninja that never needs to block because they can never be hit? That variety and depth extends to everything around you too. Drangleic, the world of Dark Souls 2, is vast and beautiful. Right from the start, you'll see more than you got to see in Dark Souls 1, with the map changed to a more traditional, open world of horizons and vistas. With very few cutscenes and minimal dialogue, you might describe the game's story as light, but if you care to look, it's just the opposite. The world is layered thick with history you'll need to discover through item descriptions and carvings you encounter over time. That and the way you progress makes it similar to games like Metroid Prime and the side-scrolling Castlevanias, but more suited to adults. Dark Souls 2 is a game you should experience for yourself, or better yet, in the company of others. That's why Dark Souls deserves to be more popular, because it's an adventure that should definitely be shared.
By then, you'll be something other than human.